All starts with some craft board, cutting it into a shape that's slightly bigger than my head. Just gluing it together with, I actually use wood glue, but I figure you can use any type of glue. I copied this shape of the hat from just from other hats that I had and just drew it freehand, and then obviously started shaving things down with files and rasps to start taking it down to the shape. Obviously using a square to make sure that when I created the sort of egg head shape that was all perfectly even. Every time we make a project, we sell it to support a charity. So we're going to sell one of these hats 1 week from today, the release day of the video. The link will go onto social media, in the description. Go to support the Royal British Legion, the Poppy charity. Any money that it makes will go to them. And then the contours started being shaved in. Had to constantly keep on redrawing these lines to make sure that I made everything look even and equal. Otherwise you end up with this sort of lopsided, sort of heavier side on the left or right hand side. Everything was sort of stenciled and all of it was drawn freehand, but the key thing is making sure that every single side is the same. So it doesn't matter if you've drawn it freehand, you've just got to use the same stencil each time. Then sand it all off, just closes up the pores a bit, makes sure that it's nice and even. This, I was creating a sort of shellac formula. You've got to do this ahead of time. So I put bioethanol and shellac into a bottle and you leave it there for a week. And the idea is that once you've shaped your hat, you spray that on and it becomes the hardener which holds the shape. It's really, really useful to use shellac because unlike glue-based, or there's lots of ways of doing it, but shellac you can just heat up with steam and you can reshape it at any point. Even if the hat has been in that shape for 10 years, you can just heat it up with steam and completely reshape it without any issue, and then when it dries the shellac will re-harden. Just trying to make sure that it switches from a sort of 90-degree angle, which isn't actually easy. You'll see me in a bit later. I had a block of metal that I was heating up with the iron and then rubbing round the rim of the hat just to get that angle clear and defined. This is the build video of our Winston Churchill Homburg hat replica. If you want to see the original video, it's about the wisdom of Churchill and how he changed the world, what he did before 1939, rather than being the typical story about Churchill starting from 1939 to 1945. If you're interested in Churchill or success and want to understand what other people had that you can copy, watch the video. The link will be at the end. This was the brim binding, and I discovered that, well, I actually copied it from another guy, but if you ironed the material round, it's really hard to get this brim binding not to just all wrinkle up, but the more you iron it into a curve, the easier it is. Then tacked it on. This is the sweatband, leather sweatband, and you're just cutting it to length, pinning it in shape, into place, and then hand sewing it. Same with the hat lining. Once you've sewn in your sweatband, you put the head lining within that, and again hand sew it in. Now I've got to create Churchill's signature little bow on the side. Again, you're sort of curving it a bit with the iron just to get it to go around the hat evenly. You'll see I've made 2 hats. When you're making the little bow, you'll see here I'm just folding it into a little wrinkle, so you're not actually making a bow, you're just doing it with a fold. And then you hide the sort of ugly fold with this, little bit of stuff that you wrap around. Then you hand sew that into place. I then sort of hand sewed the actual bow in place, just to hold it close to the hat so it looked even. You then got to heat up the hat with your steam and shape the brim, and of course it dries really quickly, and the moment it dries the shellac will hold it in that position, so you can play around with the brim to your heart's content and get it exactly how you want.